Welcome back to Man Across the New Horizons. I'm dear darling. I should see what's going on on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today, where we'll be talking about, I don't really know, to be honest. Is it kind of weird I want to talk about Neopets again, because I was like, I feel like I had so many more stories to like share from Neopets times, just like reminiscing on the days of virtual pets or whatever. Maybe I haven't spoken about virtual pets in general. This would be like another sort of through line for basically speaking about what I want. I mean, to be fair, I speak about what I want anyway, so I don't really think I need justification for it. But let's see, virtual. But I've not spoken about virtual pets, so this is a fantastic jumping off point to also give a Neopets anecdotes, I think. Hello, we'll get into that in a sec. So, hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow at 6:09 PM on Thursday, July 27th, 2023. So the long and short of it is basically Neopets is coming back. It's going through like a sort of revival where there's like new management or something, and basically they actually have plans and things are actually slowly being implemented. Sorry about that little bit of a pause. But yes, Neopets is getting a revival, which most people are fairly just like, I'm not really sure if I believe it, to be honest. And then, you know, stuff is actually being implemented. So people are like, hold on a minute. Is this like actually being legitimate? But of course, the big thing is that there are some like fundamental problems in Neopets rather than just it being outdated. There's actual fundamental things which kind of make the game an unpleasant experience, namely the economy. But I'm not going to be talking about that today. I'm going to be talking about, I suppose, me and my nostalgic anecdotes in relation to these sort of sites. Because I definitely touched upon this a few times before. When I was younger, I used to play these sites like Neopets. Neopets was definitely the main one, because that's what I played when I was like super young. When I like started when I was 3, and I had my first account called like I like Jubs or something, separated by underscores, except for I probably spelled Jubs wrong. And there's one called I like Kikos or something like that. I don't know if those accounts exist. They've probably, you know, been deleted or wiped off the face of the earth, deactivated. But I have heard people have gotten their accounts back from like 20 years ago. So, you know, maybe they're not. And am I going to search out that account? No, because that account, amusingly, I remember that I didn't have an email back then because I was free. What am I going to use an email? What do I need an email for? I suppose except to sign up for these sites or whatever. So back then, I'm pretty sure you can make an account without an email, but you needed an email to verify it. But I didn't have an email or something, or maybe I used like a temporary email generator. I can't remember. So that account isn't even verified, because I remember at one point, you know, we're starting anecdotes early, I suppose. I had that account, but later when I started playing again and I actually had an email, I made a different account. I had that account, and I got like a rare item on it. Now, I say quote rare item because Neopets has this weird thing where they assign all the items like a rarity for whatever reason, except for rarity kind of is meaningless. So rarity is kind of decided by the supply and demand, I suppose, in the actual economic system of Neopets itself, rather than the arbitrary label that they assign it. But I can't remember. It was some sort of like talisman thing. And me and my sister were just like, whoa, this must be like super rare. It was like, I mean, it was called like ultra rare or something, rarity like 95. I can't remember the exact numbers off the top of my head or whatever. But basically, it looked like something which was pretty rare. And I was just like, oh, you know, I don't really play Neopets all that much. You know, I wanted to give it to, you know, her rather than me. So we tried to trade it. But I remember because I signed up my account and it was not verified, or maybe we signed up with like a disposable email, it was a non-verified account and I couldn't trade things from it, which was really sad. At the time being like, oh, I can't give you a super cool item. What is that super cool item? In retrospect, I sort of vaguely remember what it looks like, because it looks like kind of like a compass with like swirly blue and black things inside of it. I genuinely do not remember what on earth it's called, but maybe if I looked at all the Neopets items, I would remember it. And it probably was not even like very rare or something. It probably was like a toy or something, which maybe it cost like a couple thousand Neo points. I don't know. Anyway, that's a story I remember. I remember another story of my first foray with the auction house. At the time, again, I was like 3 or something. I did not understand how auctions work. And if anything, you know, I blame from them, from that point on, I'm still not really sure how a Neopets auction works. But I remember that back in the day, you know, when Neopoints weren't so inflated, you know, I remember there was a pet paintbrush. Like a snowy pet paintbrush cost like 5,000 Neopoints, which at the time was quite a lot. or maybe it was like 10,000, I can't remember. I wasn't very good at earning Neo points when I was very, very young, because I am 3-year-olds, and 3-year-olds aren't particularly the best at gaming the capitalist system. But I remember there was an auction, for whatever reason, I really wanted this like snowy pet brush, which is weird because I didn't have a pet, I think, at the time. I think I did, actually, but it might have been a snowman. Because I remember my favourite pet at the time was the Abominable Snowman, the mini Abominable Snowman. And you might be like, what's a pet? It's a pet for your pet, and it's called a pet. And you can also get a pet, which is a pet for your pet. So yes, your pet can have a pet, and your pet can have a pet. And your pet, I guess, suppose, can have a pet of a pet. Get me? Anyway, yeah, so basically it was a paintbrush for your pet. If you don't know what a paintbrush is, it's basically all the Neopets, and this is actually like kind of consistent throughout like all like these virtual pet sites, is they'll have a base species form, like there'll be a made up species, but for our purposes, let's say like you have a dog, you have a cat, you have like a giraffe, you have a rhino or whatever, but then you can paint these pets in different colors to make them like a bit more interesting, because by default they come in the colors red, yellow, green and blue. But you can paint them like a different color. You can paint them, why don't you paint them like purple or orange or strawberry? So then they have like a strawberry texture. And then like as the times go on, like you get much wilder, I suppose, paintbrush colors. Like nowadays there's things like steampunk, which isn't really like a color, I suppose, but I guess an aesthetic. It's more of a costume, I suppose, but still. Yeah, you basically paint your pets these colors and they adopt a certain aesthetic. Some of them are much more transformative than others, and one of them which was quite transformative was the snowy pet paintbrush, which kind of like made it look like your pet was made out of snow, like crumbling snow, how they exist as like is it sentient or sapient sentient being, I don't know, but they kind of just like do, I guess. Anyway, I remember it being like auctioned for like 10,000 Neo points, and for whatever reason, I think it was on my sister's account, maybe because like my account was not verified, I couldn't really do anything. And I remember, again, I tell you, I did not understand how auctions works, and to this day I'm still not kind of sure if I understand how it works, but I remember bidding on this pet paintbrush. Is like a confession from years ago, which I don't even think I ever told my sister, and she probably would not care because this was over 20 years ago. But I remember bidding on this paintbrush and then not thinking much more of it, because again, I was free. I just looked at it and was like, hey, I want this. And it was like, oh, you had to put 10,000 here? Okay, I'll type 10,000 here. And I was like, why didn't I get it? And I was like, this game's bugged or whatever. And then I probably promptly forgot about it because I had probably the attention span of a goldfish, which apparently have pretty decent attention span, so maybe worse than a goldfish. And then I remember my sister going on the site a little bit later, just being like, where are all my Neo points gone? And I remember at that moment, I was like, oh man, I messed up, probably. I don't know if that's actually true, whether she lost her Neo points or not, because I feel like back in the day, bidding on the auction meant that it actually took the Neo points away from you. But then that doesn't make sense, because what if someone bid more than you? Then you would just lose the Neo points? What it probably does is it probably takes it from you until someone else bids higher than you, then maybe it gives it back to you or something. I don't remember. Or maybe I won the auction. I don't know. Anywho, what happened to that? I don't know. If I want to repay my dues, then so be it. I can repay it with whatever inflation interest, I suppose there is on Neo points nowadays. I just hit my chin on my microphone. But yeah, so virtual pets in general. Like there were a few of these sites. There was Neopets, was definitely the main one. There was a site called Mara Pets, which is still like around, as I understand it. Let me just look. Mara Pets, and I search it every now and then. And Mara Pets got like a heck of a glow up. Mara Pets looks terrible when I first played it ages ago. Nowadays, I guess people are still playing it. 460 players online, which is more than I'd expect. How many active Neopets players are there right now? 32,000 daily Trudy spins. Wow, that was 9 months ago. That is way more people playing Neopets than I thought. Jump to around. Normal amount of user login somewhere around 4,000 to 5,000. Sometimes it jumps to 17,000. Okay, that is still way more than I thought. In fact, Marapet still actually has like 500 or so. It was pretty crazy as well because, I think Marapets was very much riding on the coattails of Neopets initially. Nowadays it's probably quite different. I don't really know, how different it is. I'm looking at it now and it's sort of gives me the feel of, hey, I'm looking at a site which was born in the 2000s but glammed up to be much more like 2015-ish or something. I don't know what is even going on, because like I don't know, that snake has a very thick lipstick on, is what I'd say. But I'm just like in the shop section, and some of the things you're like, okay, that certainly looks like it was from the early 2000s artwork, and then some of it's like, yeah, this looks like pretty modern artwork, to be honest. Like, clearly you have a new art style you're going for. Well, not new art style, plastic surgery? Pardon me? What is this? This is horrifying. There's just one woman with, oh, you can change your nose, I see. Right, because you probably had like a human avatar in the game. Like, some of this is really cute. This is like a really cute face makeup, like NPC, footwear NPC. Oh, she's like a little cobbler. This is genuinely adorable. Some of these are very nice. No, hold on. I want to see like the Mara Pets artist. Like, some of this art is genuinely just like good art. So they definitely got to glam up at some point. They're still, you know, I can't imagine Mara Pets is making that much money, but what do I know? Pet colours, here we go. Newest pet colours. Easter ones, apparently. Look at all these pets which exist. Anyway, so Mara Pets was the other big one. There was another one, but I cannot remember what it was called. The only thing I remember about Mara Pets is I adopted... It looked way different back in the day, by the way. But I adopted, from the pound, 2 pets. Both of them Halloween coloured. And one of them was just like a big old pumpkin. I'm looking at these pets and none of these ring a bell. So I imagine it got a redesign at some point. But it was basically just a fish which looked like a pumpkin. I mean, there's Equilor. But it looked like horrifying is probably how I'd describe it. Equilor looks like adorable. Like, wow. Is this a new pet? There was also something which was like a dog thing. Limited edition only. Restricted only. What does that even mean? Standard only? What does restricted mean? Are there like old pets which no longer exist? So some of these paintbrush colours are very strange. One of them is called Prison, which is... One of them's called Killer? That's like a Saw theme thing. It's actually kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. It's actually animated, that's even cooler. Nefarious. Nefarious. Oh, so this is like goth or something. It's actually kind of cool. Like these aesthetics, I'm not gonna lie. Panda? Oh yeah, 14 of them be panda. Like, this one makes sense. This one looks like a panda. Wow, some of these are exclusive. Only 10 of these in Marauder. Am I going to play Mara Pets? I'm going to say Mara Pets had a huge glow up, is basically what I'm really saying. There's one called Hobo? What? Anime? Eh? Get it? That's Antaro! Wow, these are actually pretty cool. Anyway, sorry. Am I going to play Mara Pets? I'm not intending to. But I will say the artwork. What a glow up. But there was another one I played. I cannot remember what it was called. I can even barely remember Mara Pets to be honest either. I don't even know what my old account was, to be honest. But you know, they were the 2 main ones. I wish I remember what that other one was called. But I played a lot of these old like virtual pet things throughout my life. Like one of them I remember was it was on this old forum I used to go to. Where there was actually 2 of them, I think. Oh, is it Flight Rising? Is that what it's called? It's a dragon breeding one. I didn't really play that one very long, I think, but I think it's something like that. I know Flight Rising also had a controversy like a couple years ago about like the fact you could buy eyes or something, and no, there was like eye breeding. I don't know. Basically, Flight Rising, as I understand it, is you get dragons, you breed dragons to get rare dragons, and something like that. I don't know if that's like a list of dragons. Dragon Lair? Is that like a Flight Rising dragons? Dragon breeds. Okay, there's a wiki. There's a wiki. 2 limited breeds. What does this even mean? You can get familiars? I'm very confused. Ancient breeds. Wow, they all have stats and lengths and sizes. Anyway, I don't know how many people are still playing Flight Rising, but I feel like it was like to breed them, like it was kind of made for forum sites because you were meant to put them like in your signature. You might be like, what's a signature? Basically, every time you posted on a forum site, you would have a signature, which is like you would post a post, and then underneath your message you would have your signature attached to all of your posts, and then people would put things like, hey, I'm part of this like guild, or like, hey, click here for, I don't know, whatever, or they put like their favorite anime character or whatever have you, stuff like that. But a lot of people had like these dragon eggs which you'd put in there, and they'd be like, click me to help me hatch or something, because that's how it worked. Like I think they hatched naturally after time, but you could get more, you can get your eggs to hatch faster by getting more people to click on your eggs or something, which I guess is a very sort of sneaky, not that sneaky, I suppose, marketing sort of thing, being like, how do we get more traffic to our site? Well, you know, let's put it built into the mechanics. More traffic equals you get more benefits, right? So it's sort of like free advertising, and I guess it kind of worked because I did play it for a little bit, not very long, you know. There's this other one I played instead, which was a Pokemon themed one, basically exact same concept as Flight Rising, except for it was Pokemon. How it, like, the legality of it, I cannot imagine exists. I imagine it must have been pretty illegal, or like copyrighted or whatever, but still. You would put like your Pokemon eggs in your signature, or your Siggy, as they used to call it, which is also a slang for a cigarette, so I don't really know. And then you would click the eggs to make them hatch. And I remember I tried to start breeding like all the Eevee ones. Is this a thing? Like, hold on. Pokemon virtual online pet egg breeding? I don't even know, but Poke Farm, is that it? Collect eggs. Yeah, I think it might have been Poke Farm. But it seems reasonable. You want to go to a new place, Biscuit? No. I do want you to stay. I want you to stay. I want you to stay. Was this it? I don't know. I mean, apparently it was like different Pokemons, like birthday Pokemon. I don't know. Anyway, I played that one for a little bit as well. Or I played a lot more, and I remember I tried to get all the Eevees. I don't think I ever accomplished that because at that age, I think I was probably like 10ish or something. I probably wasn't very good at doing that stuff either. 25-year-old me right now would smoke, you know, younger me and Neopets and all of these virtual pet sites. Anyway, basically the long and short of it is like these virtual pet sites are very much, you know, I played a lot of them, unsurprisingly, because I do like customization and that sort of thing. And you might be like, hey, why have you not done more customizations in Animal Crossing? Okay, Animal Crossing is kind of like tedious, you know. I like my customizations of, I like to make this aesthetic, but I don't like the method to get there being tedious. And I'm going to be honest, Animal Crossing terraforming is very tedious. But Happy in Paradise is quite fun. I've just played it too much. But saying I'm actually going to play some Happy in Paradise probably today, because I need to pre-record some episodes for the weekend, because I'm going to be busy over the entire weekend. I'm just going to leave. Sorry, Amelia. I didn't mean to intrude, but I didn't want to tank my friendship points of order by not talking to her. So yeah, I mean, I didn't really talk about Neopets, I suppose. I kind of just like talk about virtual pet sites in general, but I used to play quite a lot of them. There was this other like anime one, which I don't think was actually about raising pets. I think it was just like, I mean, it's not like a pet simulator per se. It was more like a friend simulator. Friend simulator is not really the right word, but basically you had an anime character, I remember. And you can like customize them. I guess it's sort of like, what's that really popular, what's it called? That mobile game where you like get these really like pretty dresses and dress up dolls, or like, no, actual models, or not like actual models, like anime, I suppose, models or whatever. What is that called? I cannot remember what it's called. One of my friends in university used to play that. And she spent a lot of money in it, from what I remember. So it was very big. It also got some controversy a while back. I don't remember what controversy was, to be perfectly honest. But it's that sort of thing. I suppose in the end of the day, these sites are basically glorified customization simulators with social aspects, which, you know, I kind of find fun, I suppose, to a certain degree. It's like, it scratches my achievement-oriented collector side, I suppose, gaming side, and also scratches my, you know, artistic customization desires. It's sort of like a 2-for-1 deal. So if Neopets has a great comeback, and, you know, I'm definitely all for it. If Mario Pets has a comeback, why not? I'm going to be honest, Mario Pets actually is far bigger glow up. You know, if Neopets has this sort of same level of glow up, because I'm looking at these, like the pet drawings they have, and I'm like, this is like much more modern-esque sort of art styles for these sort of things. Not everything, I suppose, but all the pet drawings certainly are. And I'm like, whoa, that's wild. Actually, some of these still look like an older style. You can just sort of tell when you look at them, but some of them are really good as well. Okay, that one's definitely an older style, but still. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I already spoken around. What? This one's just, is this injured? You can see a very sort of divisive divide of new art style, old art style sort of things. So I guess not all of them is updated. I mean, to be fair, I only have 400 current active users, which is still a lot. I mean, that's about as many subscribers as I have, which is actually, that's kind of weird to think about. The amount of people who are subscribed to my channel is the amount of people, like, roughly currently playing Mario Pets. If anything, I currently have more subscribers, which, you know, I don't think are really comparable, because it's sort of like actively playing versus, you know, people who click subscribe once. But I don't know, there you go. Virtual pet sites, I used to play them a lot. Very nostalgic. Are they something full of, like, gameplay depth or anything? Like, would I recommend them to you? No, unless you like customizing things. But nowadays, you know, my customizations is just drawing stuff, so I guess there's not as much need for these sites to be the immediate interface, I suppose, for it. But I don't know, I'm sure they inspired a lot of artists and programmers, I think, when we were younger age, especially because back in the day, people used to learn HTML and, like, not JavaScript, CSS, I suppose, to make, like, cool lookup pages and stuff like that. Anyway, maybe I'll talk about it more at another point. Sorry, little pause, but I'm going to round this episode off here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been dear darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Twitter, Discord down below. Hope we see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.